Me, 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 me. Yo, 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 yo. Indeed. Welcome back. It's time for the Comics Coffee Table, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. We talk about comic books. We leave the real world over there. We pull up a chair to our coffee table, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. I got water today, pal. Water. Let me wet my whistle. We're going to talk about comic books. Yeah, we meet here at the Comics Coffee Table daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We talk about comic books. We spend a little time together. We talk about comic books. It's pretty simple. And yeah, this year I'm rebagging, reboarding, and reboxing my entire collection. And along the way, I'm going to get a better ballpark estimate of what my collection's worth, and I'm finding like hidden gems within my collection that are, have, skyrocketed in relative value. I guess but it's also dependent on how good they're maintained. So I've got these two books. They were given to me by my parents for Christmas last year. So this year is dedicated to my parents. There are links in the description to the Amazon pages where you can get your own copies of these. Play along at home. Tell me what gems you find in your collection. I am noticing lots of spine roll on my comic book collection. Why? I never was really a fan of boards until I got this book, and I was shown the error of my ways by seeing just how much value I've lost off of these comics by not properly bagging and boarding them. So I am getting bags and boards and boxes. I'm getting my supplies at the local comic book shop. I am not using my online supply chain with the free shipping and the built-in movies network. And which I could probably get a really cheap price for them too. And but no, I will go and get these at my local comic shop at the markup of retail, if only to contribute to the overall financial success of my beloved local comic book shops, the LCS of my area. I'm getting boards. I'm getting boxes. I'm getting bags. I'm switching to short boxes because they're like full long boxes, over about 50 pounds or so. I'm getting bags. I'm getting boards, acid-free boards. You need to pick up some Mylars for the good stuff, but these will do fine. The polypyrenes will be fine for the normal stuff, the typical stuff. We don't like to use the word normal. What is normal? Well, there's typical, and there's plenty of typical out there. So don't mince words with people who use words as weapons, or who think words are violence, or silence is violence, or is silence consent, or is silence... Oh, fuck it all. Today, we are... What's doing at the Comics Coffee Table today? The coffee table's always been where my friends would meet up, and we would just shoot the breeze. There would always be a stack of movies, a stack of music, a stack of books, and a stack of comic books, and we'd always try to be turning each other on to something we're reading. Love it. Love it dearly. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit today about The Flash. So this is my regular DC long box, I think one of two, and then there's the Crisis long box, and this goes out to goes out by request. Ale wanted to know more about the Flash family, so I'm going to talk about the Flash today, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about The Flash as much as I know. I tried watching the TV show. I was tuned in for a couple of seasons. Comics. Aw. Here we go. Wikipedia. Wiki! It's, yeah. The Flash started in cover date, it released in November of 1939. Flash Comics, #1. And with those original legacy numbers, we are quickly coming up to issue 800 very soon. And I'm going to read this from the wiki. That's right, Flash, The Flash, or simply Flash, is the name of several superheroes appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics, created by writer Gardner Fox and artist Harry Lampert. The original Flash first appeared in Flash Comics #1, cover date January of 1940, release month of November of 1939. Nicknamed the Scarlet Speedster, all incarnations of the Flash possess super speed, which include the ability to run, move, and think extremely fast, use superhuman reflexes, and seemingly violate certain laws of physics. Thus far, at least 5 different characters, each of whom somehow gain power of the Speed Force. The Speed Force? Yep. Have assumed the mantle of the Flash in DC's history. College athlete Jay Garrick from 1940 to 1951. And then we pick up his story again in 1961. Then to 2011. And then from 2017 to the present. It seems not to be counting the Jay Garrick of the New 52. Just saying. And forensic scientist Barry Allen from 1956 to 1985, where he dies in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then 2008 to the present. 2008 was DC Universe #0, Final Crisis, where he comes back. He's reconstituted from the Speed Force, and he's back in his body, and he's back in the DC Universe. And then comes the New 52. Then comes Flashpoint. And then comes the New 52. And then comes Rebirth. Yeah. Barry's nephew, Wally West, who was the first Kid Flash from 1986 to 2011 and 2016 to the present, because Barry had come back. There were 2 Flash. Actually, there were 3 Flashes, and that's what we're getting to, this Flash family. Are there too many Flashes? There's Barry's grandson, Bart Allen, from 2006 to 2007. We'll get to that. And the Chinese-American Avery Ho, 2017 to present. I'm not very versed on this Flash. This is the purple Flash, I believe. I'm going to look you up, too. Avery Ho. Avery Ho is the Flash of China. This is from DCFandom.com. /wiki. That's right, wiki. We love wikis here. Avery Ho is the Flash of China and a member of the JLC. That is the Justice League of China on Prime Earth. She received her powers from the Speed Force Storm of Central City. Her first appearance was Flash Volume 5, number 3, September of 2016. Flash got a new #1 with Rebirth. And during the Speed Force Storm of Central City, Avery Ho was struck by lightning and given access to the Speed Force like dozens of other citizens. It's the same thing that happened to Barry. Same thing that happened to Wally. Can happen to anyone, huh? Cool, why not? Each carnation of the Flash has been a key member of at least one of DC's premier teams, the Justice Society, the Justice League, and the Teen Titans. The Flash is one of DC Comics' most popular characters and have been integral in many reality-changing crisis storylines over the years. Now, referring back to last year's book, our inspiration for daily conversation, the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where we could open up to today's date, look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age, read the blurb, and then we talk about comic books. And so this is Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash. And he was in publication from 1939 to 1951, where his title got canceled. And I believe that was open up another link. And that ran until issue 57. So issue 50, okay, then we need to we're taking a break on the Flash for about 5 years. In 1956, DC Comics reinvented the Flash character. This is ushered in the Silver Age. The Golden Age is now over. What happened was that there was the Great Morality Crises, and there was the Comics Code Authority Seal of Approval, which was a voluntary measure that these comic book producers took to circumnavigate unnecessary legislation, trying to legislate what they can and cannot publish. So the Comics Code of Authority of America seal, it meant, we got into this in detail in other episodes too, but it was a list of morality codes that you had to adhere to about like nudity standards, violence standards, endangering children, respecting authority figures like policemen and so on. And that happened about 1955. So in 1956, there comes Showcase issue number 4, October of 1956, and that's where we are introduced to the new Flash, Barry Allen. He was completely unrelated to Jay Garrick. In fact, Garrick had never existed as far as the new books were concerned. Barry Allen's first appearance shows him reading a copy of Flash comics, lamenting that Garrick was just a character some writer dreamed up. Readers welcomed the new Flash, but still had an interest in the old one. So after Showcase number 4 in 1956, eventually Flash restarts at issue number 58, and as the adventures of Barry Allen, continuing the issue numbers from volume 1. So this is volume 1, The Flash. And a couple of years later, in 1961, in issue number 123, Jay Garrick made a special appearance. In this issue, Garrick was treated as residing in a parallel universe, Earth 2, which allowed the character to exist without any continuity conflicts with Barry Allen, who existed on Earth 1, yet allowed him to make guest appearances in Silver Age books. For most of the 60s and the 70s, Garrick made guest appearances. However, starting in 1976, Garrick became a regular character in the revived All-Star Comics, which were Earth 2 adventures, with Earth 2 Superman, Power Girl, Huntress, as a new generation of superheroes and a legacy. Batman got killed over there too, which was interesting. Partaking in adventures with the Justice Society in stories set in modern times. In 1981, he and the Justice Society appeared in All-Star Squadron, story set during World War II, deep in the Golden Age. And this actually this invented multiverse. It really did. This invented the whole thing of multiverse, and other Earths were now starting to develop as DC Comics or national publications started buying other failing competitors like Quality, Charlton, Fawcett, and then came the Silver Age conceit of Earth 3, the mirror universe where the evil alternates lived, and so on. So this was the first, I believe, the first real superhero multiverse, and it all started with DC Comics. Barry Allen, though, had a kid sidekick in Wally West. He was the first Kid Flash. And in 1985, 1986, when Barry Allen, see, Barry Allen, this comic book is from April of 1985, cover dated, probably released, what, January of 85. I'm 12 years old, and this will only, see, this issue of The Flash, 344, this is still the same page, this is the same numbers as Flash Comics #1 from, January of 1940, okay? And this will end, this volume will end at 350. Barry will go to the future, be reunited with Iris West, who is waiting there in a new body where she's originally from the future. Barry will die in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then his kid sidekick will take over as the Flash, being the first hero to ever, kid sidekick to fulfill the promise and take on the legacy of the fallen mentor. That starts a new volume. So that's Flash Volume 2, Issue 1, 1987, written by Mike Barron, and art by, I think by Butch Joyce. Butch Juice. Juice? Let me know in the comments section. And I'm a huge fan of that run of Flash comic books. Now, I liked the Flash back when I was a kid. I simply adore Flash comics as a younger man, especially the Wally West edition, such as this, Dead Heat by Mark Waid, Phil Jimenez. Oh, is this Phil Jimenez? I'm too sure. This is one of my favorite Flash comics. Let's look at the Indicia. The Indicia Colophone. Oh, this is so good. This is from December of 1995. I didn't read it back then. I read this when I came back in 2001. And like all good comic books, it's all new if you haven't read it yet. And this is the introduction of Wally West's true Reverse Flash, Savitar. I love this. This is such a great storyline. Where is the... Okay. Oscar Jimenez. Pencils. Jose Marzan Jr. on inks. And, yeah, Mark Waid on story. Mark Waid has been writing great DC comics for a very long time. And this has issues of Impulse as well, because Impulse was a spinoff of The Flash. And Impulse was the new Kid Flash in a way, but his own hero name. He will eventually become Kid Flash. In 2003 with Jeff Johns' reboot of, or his, it's not a reboot really, it was just his newer version of Teen Titans. Love those Teen Titans. This volume, I was really into this leading up to issue 200, and so I remember. Yeah, so then some interesting things start to happen. So we have, this is Flash, Jeff Johns and Scott Collins. You might actually Howard Porter. That's a Collins cover, I believe. Let me just double check that here. Does it say anything? It looks like so. No, that's a Howard Porter cover. But yeah. Oh wow. I was really into this. So Blitz came before this. That was Hunter Zolomon, the new Zoom, the second Zoom, who was Wally's Zoom, and this went up until Volume 2 of The Flash ends at issue 230. Because in the Infinite Crisis, Bart Allen, and it's the first that we see of Barry emerging out of the Speed Force. It was Bart versus Superboy Prime. So they push Superboy Prime into the Speed Force, and there's some multiverse Earth that they all exist on and live on for a few years, that Bart returns from that Speed Force Earth, that Earth Flash or whatever it is. And he's all like 19 years old. He's a young man. And he takes over in his own Flash comic, spinning out of Infinite Crisis. And a new Flash volume. So this would be Flash Volume 3. Where did Flash 1 go? It's around here somewhere. Do you even have Flash 1? Wouldn't that be funny if you didn't? Oh wow, where'd it go? It's somewhere in there. This is Bart Allen as an adult, and as a young adult, and it didn't take. It really didn't. It was really not poor. It was just, they tried, but it was just not that good. This is cover dated July of 2007. And Bart gets killed by the rogues, where he actually just becomes one of the Speed Force again. That he's been waiting there, and he'll come back in a Final Crisis Legion of 3 Worlds. He gets reconstituted, but until then, we go back to the Volume 2 numbering. So we've skipped the Volume 3. We go back to Volume 2 numbering and resume Wally West's run at 231. And that will go on until about issue 240 or so. And then the whole world stops. Barry Allen comes back. These are really good comic books. Jeff Johns and EVS's Flash Rebirth. These are really good. And all of these will lead up to Flashpoint, the Flashpoint Paradox, which will lead directly into the New 52. And then we have a Flash family as well that comes from this. It starts with Wally West, the first Kid Flash. It comes with Impulse, who premieres in the 0 Hour Crisis in Time direct sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths. In 1994, 93-94, we have Impulse. Impulse is Bartholomew Allen, who is Barry Allen's grandson. Barry Allen and Iris West Allen's grandson from the 31st century. And he's traveled back to the past to learn how to use his powers better, I guess. So he gets to be mentored with Max Mercury and also Golden Age Jay Garrick with his wife Joan. And those were really good comic books. I really enjoyed Impulse as a character. He was comic relief. He was the quintessential kind of ADD-ish kind of kid with a divergent attention span. And Impulse also, they had these wonderful thought balloons where they were rebus puzzles. Rebus puzzles are those like the little they're like emojis, and we didn't have a word for emoji back then. So the little icons in a row where you figure out what the joke is with the little icons. So it's funny that, and prescient too, that Bart Allen comes from a future. So he thinks in emojis, and this predated the use of emojis because, we didn't really use texting then. Because we got charged for texts. Do you still get charged for SMS text? And so on. So then there's Avery Ho, another Flash, the Flash of China, the Purple Flash. And I'm like, who is this Purple Flash? Then there are also there's XS. She is from the 31st century. Her name is Jenny Ognatz, and she is the daughter of Dawn Allen, D-A-W-N, her mother, and she is also one of Barry Allen's grandchildren, her granddaughter. She has super speed. She's the speedster of the Legion of Superheroes, the second Legion. Great character. I love her. And let's see. Then there's Johnny Quick, who is the second speedster of the golden age of DC Comics. His daughter, Jessie Quick, has super speed as well. And is part of the Flash family as Jessie Quick, but also as Liberty Bell. Her mom was the original golden age Liberty Bell, a superheroine. So both of her parents, this makes her a second generation legacy costumed adventurer and superhero. Jessie Quick is really awesome. There is Wallace West, Ace. He was the Wally West of the New 52. And the intention at the time, it's never been never read it anywhere. I've only sussed this out on my own. That Wallace Ace West, the Kid Flash of the New 52, was meant to be a race-swapped Wally West for syzygy with the TV show. See, in the TV show, Iris is portrayed by a woman of color. And so Barry's foster family, they're all people of color. Joe West, Iris, Wally West. Now Wally is no longer Iris's nephew. Wally is Iris's younger brother. So they changed. It's been adapted for TV. So with making the Wests a family of color, being African American people, in the comic book, it needed, that's called corporate syzygy, making sure that it aligns as a property. Unfortunately, Wallace West, the new African American Kid Flash of color, he wasn't really getting traction, and people were demanding that their Flash from 1987 to 2011. That where is Wally West? Where's our Wally? And fans demanded the return of the red-headed, green-eyed Wally West of Blue Valley, Nebraska, the original Teen Titan, the original, the second, the first kid sidekick to ever take on the legacy of the fallen mentor. Where is Wally? Wally reconstituted himself from the Speed Force by the time DC Rebirth came. So it became this fudged-in kind of story that Wallace West and Wally West, they're cousins. John West was Rudolph West's and Iris West's brother, and they both, Rudolph and John, both named their kids after their father, Wallace. That explains the two Wallies, when in fact it was just a clumsy attempt at corporate syzygy. I totally believe that the Wally West of the New 52 was totally supposed to be the one and true Wally West, just in a new skin. As we call, clumsily, the race swap, in the parlance of the terms. Then comes all the enemies. There are so many enemy speedsters, too, like Rival, Edward Thawne, the first Reverse Flash, Hunter Zolomon, the second Zoom. It just goes on and on. Godspeed, I barely know who Godspeed is, and there are just so many speedsters in the DC Comics, in the Flash family. So hopefully this is honestly the extent of my Flash knowledge, in a way, from being a lifelong Flash fan. I loved Wally West growing up as a kid. I loved the design of the uniform. He was Robin's best friend. And that mattered a lot to me because I was a Robin myself. And I grew up steeped in these Bronze Age stories. So, Wally West, the Flash, this has a huge... It's pretty big to me. And I kind of like... Oh, and then there are Wally's kids, Jay and Iris. It's J-A-I, but I'm pretty sure that's just the Korean spelling for Jay, named after Jay Garrick in a way. And there's and Iris, Irie. And that's, Wally's twins, and Wally and Linda. And that's another story, too. And they have powers too. So there are, then there's Impulse's opposite number, his clone, Inertia. Oof. Yeah, so there are a lot of speedsters. There's the Flash family, huh? And then there's all the Flashes of the future, John Fox, and then the Flash of Titan, the big blue Flash. All that Mark Waid stuff is really awesome. It shows this huge Flash legacy. It's a big story. I know. There are a lot of Flashes. I hope you're taking notes, and I hope this helped. We're talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We talk about comic books daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Turn on those notifications. Ring that bell. Subscribe. I would love to be part of your YouTube day. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.